guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I am doing a get ready with me, and I really am just getting ready for work, but this is the look. I really hope you all like it, and keep watching if you want to see how I did it. Alright, so the first thing I always do whenever I'm doing my makeup in the morning is wipe off my face with some micellar water. Today I'm using the Garnier micellar water. It's not my favorite, but I have it, so I am trying to use it all up. And excuse me if it looks really strange, like I'm looking upward, because the camera is right in front of the mirror and it's just easiest to look right there. And then I just kind of let that dry for a second. And once the micellar water has dried completely, I will use the Maybelline Baby Skin as my primer. Just get a little bit of that on my finger. And then I like to put it on my nose and cheeks first, then my chin and forehead. My nose and cheeks because the pores there are definitely the largest, and then everywhere else it just kind of smooths everything out. And I do bring it down the neck a little bit because I put makeup there. Who doesn't? And then I am using the Too Faced Born This Way foundation in Snow. Definitely one of my favorite liquid foundations, and yesterday when I tried to use it, it made a noise to make me think that it is getting empty and I'm gonna have to get more soon. And I always dot my foundation kind of like that, just so it's evenly dispersed all over my face. And then I use a Real Technique sponge to blend that out. This is always the longest part of my makeup, I feel like. I know if I used a brush it would go so much quicker, but I really like the application with my Real Technique sponge. And previously I've used the Ulta sponge, I don't know what it's called, but it's their brand of makeup sponge, and it is just so firm that after using this one I really cannot go back. Alright. Once the foundation is mostly blended in, I'll go ahead and do my concealer, and I've got the Covergirl Ready Set Gorgeous concealer that I use underneath my eyes. And I always put a ton on just because I could use the extra coverage anyways. And then I put it down my nose, on my cupid's bow, chin, and forehead. And then once again with the Real Technique sponge, I'll go ahead and blend that in. And I usually go in the same order that I applied the concealer. That just really prevents it from drying before I can blend it in. Alright, and I do have a little bit of a blemish right here that I'm going to try to cover. My cheeks are always rough, so whatever's left over I will put there. Oh, sorry, and that was the Maybelline Master Concealer. And one more time with that Real Technique sponge. Alright, and then the next thing I do to set all of that, I use this bareMinerals Ready Illuminating Touch-Up Veil in Translucent. I have no idea where I got this, but I have it and I use it. And I really like it, so I may have to figure out if they still make it. And I just use this little tiny looking powder brush to first dab where I put the concealer to set it, because I don't want to move it around. I just really want to set it and for it to stay in place all day. And then I kind of do those high points again. And then I'll go in with a larger powder brush and just set everything else. There we go. And next I'll be using my Wet n Wild Mega Glow Contouring Palette. I really only use the contour shade. I don't typically use the highlighting shade. But in a pinch when I've forgotten powder for traveling, I definitely have used that highlighting shade. So I'll just take it on this Luxie large angled brush that I got in an Ipsy bag one time, And I just kind of turn it on its side, do both of my cheekbones, and then go back and really blend that out so it doesn't look too sharp or harsh. Alright. And then after I contour, I always like to bronze. I'll be using this Too Faced bronzer. It's the Peach Leopard. And then a Sonia Kashuk blush brush. I just swirl it around and then just hit both of the areas where I had just contoured so it doesn't look too cool. And then I kind of bring it down my neck. And one more for the temples and top of my forehead. And usually I'll go back in with my powder brush just to blend it all in because I am pretty fair, so I can go overboard pretty easily if I'm not careful. And then I will be using my Becca Jaclyn Hill face palette. I'm obsessed with this thing. I use it almost every single day. So for blush, I'll be using the Rosé Spritz. I love shimmer, so I can never have enough. And I always just kind of smile a little bit and then brush it on. And then highlighting, I'm going to use the Champagne Pop, even though it does have both Champagne and Prosecco Pop. I just really prefer Champagne Pop on my skin. And I'll apply that on the tops of the cheekbones. Dab a little bit more down the nose, Cupid's bow, chin, and then whatever's left over on the center of my forehead. Like I said, I could never have enough glow. And so now that I'm done with my face, I will be doing my eyes. First I'm starting with the Urban Decay Original Eyeshadow Primer Potion. I'm sure you guys can tell this is a really old bottle because it doesn't even have the brush. It's just the squeezy tube, which I like the squeezy tube better, honestly. I just get a very little bit on my fingers, dab it apart, and then I will do each eye. Alright. And since that is a pretty wet eyeshadow primer, I always like to set it. And today I'm using my bareMinerals, what is this thing called? Ready Eyeshadow 8. It's got 8 nice shades in there that I like to use a lot. Purple's one of my favorite shades to use. And I'll use just a big fluffy brush in the neutral shade called Promise. And then I just put that all over both of my eyelids to really set that in so that when I'm using the darker shades, it doesn't really stick to one spot. It'll go where I need it. I'm going to be using Waltz as my transition shade. And I just use a big fluffy brush like this, dip it in the shade, and then kind of just wiggle it back and forth. This is a really light lavender shade. And even though I do use purple as kind of my base, I am doing more of a bronzy look today. So the next shadow I'm using is going to be Sizzle, just on a flat shader style brush. Just load it up on both sides. And then I just put it all over the lid. Sorry about that, my camera totally stopped filming, so all I've done so far is put my lid color on, and I'm just continuing with the eyes. The next thing I'm going to be doing is taking a little bit denser of a crease style brush, and I'm going to be using Valet, which is a little bit darker brown shade. And once again, going back into the crease, and also kind of along that outer edge to give my eye the shape that I want it. And I always kind of push the darker shades up a little bit to make sure that they're going where they need to. I don't want it sitting too low. And then when I close my eye, it doesn't look very natural. Perfect. And And then I will be using a pencil style brush and the darkest purple glittery shade in here, and it's called Romance. And I will just kind of fill up that, and then very gently on the outer edge of my eye, kind of like an eyeliner, but not really. Just adds a little something extra. And then I kind of go in with that first shade again over the top of that to make sure it's not too dark, to make sure it blends out very nicely. And that's it for my eyeshadow look. I lied. I almost forgot to highlight my brow bone and my inner corners. So I'll be using the shade Curtsy, which is a very light white, shimmery, sparkly shade. Sparkles and shimmer don't really show up though, so I just kind of like it as a white shade. And since I am very fair, it does work pretty nicely with my eyes. And then I take that tiny little powder brush again and just sweep underneath the eyes to make sure there wasn't any fallout. And then once I've done that, I will take my eyelash curler and curl my eyelashes. Hold it there for a second. I always pinch my left eyelid. I don't know why. The right one I do fine with, but the left one I seem to want to pinch off. And then I'll be using my Lancome Hypnose Drama mascara. It's just the black shade. I really love the wand, how it's curved. I feel like that gives my lashes a lot of extra lift. Alright, and then I'm going to be doing my brows. They are kind of a mess. I really just need to brush them out most of the time, and that's pretty good because I do have relatively thick eyebrows naturally. And I do have pretty full eyebrows, like I don't have many sparse spots. But I really got to give them a good brushing and kind of brush them into place. And then for any spots that I do have that aren't quite filled, I like to use this Pixi Natural Brow Duo. It has the pencil on one end and the gel on the other. Mine is broken though, so I have to be very careful. Really, my sparsest spots are right in the front and then right at the end. And then once I've done that, just to make sure nothing moves, because you can already see my hairs are liking to move around, I use the gel side, which this is a very wet, sticky gel, so I kind of have to be careful not to put too much. Okay. And then once I've done that, it is time to move on to the lips that I've halfway covered in foundation anyways. I don't typically use lip liner, and especially today I'm using a pretty nude shade. This is the bareMinerals Be Free. It's one of their older lipsticks. It's not the new formulation. This is the Moxie formulation. And then because I think this shade looks just a little bit light on my skin, I always pair it with this lip gloss by bareMinerals, as well as the Marvelous Moxie in Spark Plug. It's not much of a difference, but it really helps me feel more confident about my lip color. And then last but not least, I will be spraying my face with a finishing spray. I always use the Pixi by Petra Makeup Fixing Mist. I really love the way this one feels on my face. The sprayer is amazing. But I always give it a good shake and then hold it a little bit away and spray. And then just do 3 down the center and 2 on each side to make sure I'm covering my whole face, and then just let that dry. And that is the finished look. I really hope you all enjoyed this video. Please check back next week for another video. I'm really excited. It's going to be a special one, and you'll have to check back to see what that is. Please like and subscribe if you liked this video. And then please leave comments down below about what kind of videos you do want to see, because I definitely am interested in what you all are interested in. So thank you so much for watching. See you all next week. Bye!